Tom Curran's a great reporter, Patriots insider, NBC Sports in Boston, joining us now live. All right, your reaction. I like it on Cam Newton's second year in the system. I thought at the end of the year he played okay. Your thoughts on Cam coming back to the Patriots, Tom?
Don't love it. Don't love it if he is the long-term answer. But I think more than anything, Colin, it's kind of a CYA move. The Patriots are going to go into free agency, and they have to be able to point at somebody as being their quarterback. Say they got Curtis Samuel on the line, Corey Davis on the line. They have to be able to say, okay, this is the plan we have. We know Cam didn't look that great last year, but we got a second year to run it back, and we got you coming in to help them work out.
They need, the free agent market, they got cap space, they've got needs, but that doesn't necessarily mean they'll spend all of it. Your thought on their cap space and the money they have and what they'll spend it on?
Yeah, the cap space is, extreme. You got about $60 million, but they also have significant free agents of their own to deal with. For instance, Adam Butler and Lawrence Guy, two of their better defensive linemen, are both up. James White is up. Rex Burkhead, I know he's got an ACL, but he's up. Damiere Byrd, who was a decent free agent wideout for the team last year, is up. Now, all of those guys together aren't going to consume your cap space, but they have to start in-house to a degree. And then, to me, Colin, they're probably closer to being a competent team on defense than offense. So part of me says, maybe you go get that edge rusher so that you can manage the game on offense, keep the score low, but be a pain in the ass on defense week in and week out.
15th pick in the draft. I don't buy Mac Jones at all. I don't think he's a second reaction athlete. I think the league is different. Your guess is that 15th pick. Do they move up, Tom? You've got good sourcing on that.
Yeah, my feeling is you're going to see a lot of good players driven down the board. You're going to see all those wideouts, the Devontae Smiths, Jamar Chase, and Jalen Waddles go. You're going to see the 5 quarterbacks go. So now you've seen 8 Kyle Pitts, too. 9 picks consumed, perhaps, by wide receivers, tight ends, and quarterbacks. Well, that means corners are dropping, and Bill loves his corners. That means linebackers are dropping, and the Patriots with Dante Hightower into his early 30s. They need that. So I would not be at all surprised if they stay put and go on defense. Again, to me, there's so much work to do on offense. Maybe I'm paralyzed by the daunting nature of the entire job, but that's my contention.
Bill, you and I have talked about this ad nauseum. Bill can't draft receivers. It's his hole. Now, some of that, I would contend, some of that is the offensive system with Brady was so complex and layered. These kids come in, and they're just overwhelmed with it for a couple years. And by that time, everybody bails on people. But to me, Kenny Galladay's on the market. Why not consider just solving the issue, the Rubik's Cube for the Patriots? Just go buy a receiver.
Yeah, in past years, they've taken runs at, Marvin Jones when he was up in 16. And again, they're not high-level receivers. You're guys like, it's escaping me at the moment. But,
Mohamed
Jared
Sanu.
Cook or Adam Humphries or Cole Beasley. They're in on these guys, but they don't make it happen because they've seen so often that the system can reward you with a Julian Edelman or a Danny Amendola or a Wes Welker. You can make it work with those guys. But to me, too, Colin, without Tom Brady there, for instance, take James White, for instance. He's a free agent. Is James White really as good as he appeared when he was an 80-catch guy? Or was James White just filling the same suit that was filled by Kevin Falk and Shane Vereen and then White? So is it the system or is it the skill of the player? The Patriots have to determine that because at this point they don't have a lot of skill. Do they have to go buy skill because the system's different without Brady? There's a whole – it's very much chicken or the egg, Colin. I think you're exactly right.
I made the argument this morning. Cam got COVID, came back, was awful for 2 weeks, Denver, San Francisco, but down the stretch, last 9 games, 5-4, 90 passer rating, 12 total touchdowns, a receiving, and I said to myself, well, it's year 2. Just like Brady's going to be better this year in Tampa, Cam should be better in year 2. Everybody's better in year 2. Could I make the argument that if you look at that division, the Jets still don't know what they're doing. Miami's got Tua. That's not as good as you thought. This morning with Cam, I do feel like they're kind of a playoff team. They're a very good defensive, very well coached, special teams, a little bit run-centric. That's okay. So's Baltimore.
Yep.
They feel like a playoff team to me year 2 with Cam. Do they to you?
Yes, they feel like they can be in the mix for a playoff spot or a wild card, maybe the division. But to me, you got 7 wins with this team that was probably the worst roster in football.
Yeah.
In many ways. So Bill has that very high floor. He's going to be able to beat teams that are better than him by marginal amounts. But then there's going to be games where you're overwhelmed offensively by other teams. It happened against San Francisco. It happened down the stretch the second time around with Buffalo. But yeah, you're right. You can get 6, 8, 10 wins with this complement of players, in my estimation, because of the way you can play the game, coach it up, and you're smarter than everybody else. But the notion that the Patriots are going to be a threat to the Chiefs, or a threat perhaps to Tennessee, or a threat to the NFL at large, I just don't see it.
Yeah, neither do I. Tom Curran, Patriots Insider. Follow him, Tom E. Curran, on Twitter. Good seeing you. Have a good weekend, bud.
All right, buddy. Enjoy.
All right, he does a great job. He's the guy I follow when it comes to Patriots news. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.